there could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her, and it's scary, sadistic. I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is
Investigators are finally closing in on David's case, and things are getting dark. They just uncovered shocking new evidence linking him straight to Celeste, and what they found hints that her death might have been way more twisted than anyone imagined. The story doesn't stop there. Looks like David's close friend, Mio, was right there through it all and could have even helped cover things up. Can you believe that? And remember the owner of that luxury mansion where David had been staying? Well, they didn't just sit back. They jumped right into the investigation and brought in their own private detective. Now, no one knows for sure if they hired Steve Fisher, but let's be real. Steve has been deep in this case from the very beginning. He's got all the inside info on what's real, what's fake, and who's actually guilty here. Steve claims that the reason David hasn't been arrested yet is because there are multiple people tangled up in this mess. And get this, he said Celeste wasn't just staying in one place. Apparently, she was moving between different homes since David had more than one rental property. That's wild, right? It raises so many questions. Who else knew about this? Who was staying where? And why was she being moved around like that? What really sent chills down my spine was when Steve revealed that at first he thought this was just an overdose that went horribly wrong. He said the people involved might have been trying to hide what really happened to keep their secrets buried. This case just keeps getting more disturbing by the minute. So apparently, they didn't just panic and make one bad decision. They disposed of the body and then kept working together to cover it up in the most disturbing way imaginable. Steve says it's not just a mistake gone wrong. It's way darker than that. He described it as some kind of twisted humiliation thing. Like they were trying to keep this secret alive through fear and control. What kind of people even think like that? And then Steve dropped the real bomb. He claims he uncovered details that prove this whole thing had sadistic motives. You know what that means? Taking pleasure in someone else's pain, humiliation, or suffering. It's sickening just to think about. So what exactly was their plan for Celeste's body? The thought of it is enough to make your skin crawl. Every time I see David flashing those knives on his live streams, it makes my stomach turn. The way he acts, cold, arrogant, emotionless, it's terrifying to imagine what might have really happened behind those closed doors. Now, the reason there haven't been any arrests yet, it's probably because this wasn't a one-man operation. The cops are quietly piecing everything together to catch every single person involved. And honestly, it's about time something real started happening, because that poor girl deserves justice. Thankfully, the landlord stepping in and hiring that private investigator might have been the game changer. Steve says he now has actual surveillance footage showing a Tesla being driven just moments before it was mysteriously abandoned. If that footage really exists, it could blow this entire case wide open. According to Steve, the footage from July 29th could be the key to cracking this whole case wide open. But here's where it gets creepy. The person driving the Tesla in that video doesn't even match the earlier descriptions of who was supposed to be behind the wheel. That alone raises so many red flags. Could someone else have been moving the car to cover their tracks? Steve says the video, along with digital data pulled straight from the Tesla app, phone records, and exact timestamps, is now being carefully reviewed. He explained, if this evidence helps establish a timeline or shows who Celeste was last seen with, both prosecutors and defense attorneys will rely on it. So yeah, this could literally make or break the entire investigation. But it gets even darker. Steve revealed that disturbing and sadistic evidence was found at one of the properties. He said it looked like there might have been a serious cover-up attempt, even though, to be clear, there's still no confirmed proof that Celeste was harmed inside the home itself. Still, what was found there was enough to send chills down everyone's spine. Now, I'm not trying to get too graphic here, but the rumors floating around online are horrifying. Word is Celeste had been living with David at 2 rental properties, both just about a mile apart in the Hollywood Hills. That lines up with parts of Steve's theory, although he insists the main property he's focused on was actually closer to downtown LA, not Hollywood Hills. So something doesn't quite add up. And here's the part that'll haunt you. Some people are saying Celeste's remains were dismembered and stored in a freezer for weeks or even months before David suddenly decided to go on tour. That's beyond chilling. Steve mentioned that the last known photo of Celeste was taken way back in January, even though her family claims they were still in contact with her up until July. So if that's true, who were they actually talking to? Was someone pretending to be Celeste this whole time? This story is spiraling into something even darker than anyone expected. So get this, Steve actually went on Twitter and straight up boasted about what he'd uncovered. He wrote something like, "Let's speculate that the Tesla was moved the last time and left in that parking spot right before David's tour kicked off in San Francisco. Who moved it? You don't get answers unless you ask questions. That tweet alone sent people into a frenzy. And now, everyone's asking the same thing. Who actually drove that car the final time?" Steve hinted it might have been someone close to David, maybe even his so-called assistant, Neo. And trust me, once you start digging into Neo, things get very suspicious. So who is this Neo guy? He's not just a random friend. He's been by David's side for years. Neo has called himself David's personal assistant. But people online have whispered that their relationship seemed a little more than professional. Some even claimed it looked romantic, though nothing's ever been confirmed. Still, the closeness between them was obvious. There are tons of photos and videos showing them hanging out, traveling, and lounging around like they didn't have a care in the world. But here's where it gets shady. Neo definitely knew who Celeste was. There are pictures and video call screenshots proving that he'd talked to her multiple times. He wasn't some outsider. He was deep in this circle. And now, Neo's suddenly gone full ghost mode. He unfollowed David on Instagram, deleted all their pictures together, and tried to wipe every trace of their friendship from his social media. Like, seriously? That's not a good look. If he had nothing to hide, why erase everything now? People online are saying it's way too late for that cleanup act. Some are even speculating that if David had been the one to move the Tesla, he would have been in handcuffs already. But since he's still walking free, maybe it was Neo who handled that car. It's all adding up too perfectly. Right now, with no arrests and no clear answers, the case is still wide open. Investigators are piecing together every move to find out exactly what happened to Celeste, and most importantly, how she really died. So now people online are taking a closer look at David and Neo's relationship, and let's just say, it's raising some serious eyebrows. One user even speculated that David might actually be bisexual, judging from how close he and Neo seemed to be. Sure, some of their comments could be brushed off as bro talk, but when you actually read them, they feel way more personal than that. For example, Neo once commented on David's post saying, "I'm never letting go. You are always beautiful." David like, "What? That's not exactly how most guys talk to their best friends." Then David replied with, "Healed," which instantly had people asking, healed from what? Because honestly, everyone in this story seems far from healed right now. It gets even wilder. David posted an anime-style video that fans think might be hinting at his connection with Neo. In the clip, there's an Asian man, a black man who looks strikingly similar to David, and a woman caught between them. The song and visuals gave people chills, especially after Neo dropped a comment saying "senpai," which in anime culture basically means crush. That comment was left on August 5th, just days after everything started to spiral publicly. And the timing? That's the part that has everyone suspicious. The video was released August 5th, but remember, all of this drama started unfolding around the end of July. It's like David was sending out hidden messages right in the middle of the chaos. Coincidence? Maybe. But it feels way too perfectly timed to ignore. And when you start lining up the timeline, it gets even more tangled. David's Instagram shows Neo hanging out at his house on July 30th, just one day after the Tesla was reportedly last moved. Steve told News Nation that the footage he obtained, the one showing the Tesla, was from July 29th. So that means David and Neo were together right around the exact same time that car disappeared. It's starting to look like Neo wasn't just some innocent bystander, he was right there when everything went down. When Neo finally broke his silence, people thought he'd clear things up, but instead his response only made the situation so much worse. He posted, "Yeah, eventually I'm gonna say something, but I kind of hate forcing myself into solitude because people on the internet assume the worst in people and will legit make up anything out of nothing. So eventually I'll say something when I'm ready, love all the real people that have been kind to me, and don't make false assumptions. Like, seriously? That's his response? Saying the internet makes up anything out of nothing, while there's a full-blown investigation going on involving a dead woman connected to his close friend? That's not nothing. That's cold. People immediately called it out, saying his tone was completely detached, almost sociopathic. Someone online even wrote, "A dead girl in your bro's trunk isn't nothing." That one comment summed up how disgusted people felt about his nonchalant attitude. Then screenshots started surfacing showing Neo had been at David's house multiple times this year, April 18th, June 1st, June 6th, July 8th, and July 27th. And insiders believe there were even more visits that he's since deleted from social media. The timeline just keeps tightening around him. One post that really hit hard said, "Main character syndrome, the lot of them. That's what it takes to dump the body of a girl you supposedly loved and not even pay for her funeral." Chilling, right? It's like these guys think life is some twisted movie where they're untouchable. Now, let's walk through the timeline that investigators are piecing together. On March 8th, the lease on one of David's properties, the same one Celeste was allegedly living in, was abruptly terminated. Nobody knows if Celeste moved in with him somewhere else, maybe that place on Vareo Drive, or if something much darker happened before then. Then on July 20th, police were called to that same Vareo Drive property over reports of loud music. Just a week later, on July 27th and 28th, David and his friends, including Neo, were seen partying again. And here's the eerie part. On July 29th, David's Tesla was moved for the very last time before it was later impounded. Every single date lines up too perfectly, and the fact that Neo was around for almost every key moment, it's impossible to ignore. Surveillance footage reportedly caught someone wearing very specific, easily identifiable clothing moving the Tesla. And just hours later, that same person supposedly left town on tour. Investigators believe that person might have been Neo. The timing is chilling. On July 30th, David was performing in San Francisco, meaning that on July 29th, the crew likely left in the tour bus right after the Tesla was ditched. That's not just suspicious, and here's where it gets downright eerie. During David's first show of the tour, he wore a bright Hello Kitty sweatshirt with the words "Divine Celestial" written across the front. People immediately pointed out how close that was to Celeste's name. Like, come on, Celestial? Right after everything that happened? That's way too on the nose to be a coincidence. Fans online said it almost felt like a creepy tribute, or worse, a twisted message. The wording "Divine Celestial" gave everyone the chills because it tied right into the unsettling sacrifice rumors. Some people online have even speculated that David might have been trying to imply that Celeste was sacrificed for his fame or album release. Now, obviously that's not confirmed, but when you line up the symbolism, the timing, and his behavior, it all feels disturbingly intentional. There's even video footage from July 31st showing David and Neo hanging out together at one of the shows, laughing, relaxed, like nothing had ever happened. That clip alone has people furious, wondering how they could act so casual with an active investigation hanging over them. And when Steve was asked about the timing, he confirmed what everyone feared. Someone quoted him saying, "What I can tell you is that right when the Tesla was moved there, the tour bus was waiting to leave. From the time the Tesla was left there, immediately, the tour bus had departed." That detail right there, the car being parked and the bus leaving within minutes, is just too suspicious to ignore. All right, so picking up the timeline, things get even more tangled. On August 1st, David was performing in Arizona, and by August 2nd, he was already back in California, continuing his string of shows like nothing ever happened. Meanwhile, Neo seemed to quietly disappear from the public eye after August 8th. No sightings, no posts, nothing. It's like he just vanished. Then suddenly, he pops up again on August 10th, spotted back in LA at some flashy birthday party. Seriously? Out partying while all of this chaos is swirling around? It's giving zero remorse vibes. He probably just got off the road, but come on! If you were tied to a case like this, would you really be out popping bottles already? And it doesn't stop there. On August 27th, reports claim that David and Neo were seen again. This time partying it up with a group of influencers, right around the same time David's Tesla was being marked for potential abandonment. How tone-deaf can you be? The car tied to a missing person case was sitting there collecting dust while they were out clubbing. Then between August 29th and 30th, a photographer named Maximilian was seen taking pics at Tara Yummy's debut show, where, surprise, surprise, David was spotted too. And what's creepy is that David apparently had a very close relationship with Tara Yummy, which just adds another strange layer to this twisted puzzle. Looking back at this whole sequence, it's clear Neo was by David's side constantly. Before the tour, during the chaos, and even after things started to blow up, the two of them were always partying, always together. Like they didn't have a single care in the world while everything around them was falling apart. So here's the final piece of the puzzle. Turns out Neo was spotted at several of David's California tour stops, but nowhere else after that. He was already back in LA by August 10th, which means he can't be ruled out as the one who moved the Tesla. Whether it was before David hit the road or sometime after, right up until August 27th when the car was officially marked as abandoned. That timing is just too perfect to ignore. But the real question now is, where's David? Because nobody seems to know. The only thing we've heard is that his attorney, Blair, is still representing him, which means David's technically still walking free right now. Free despite all this evidence, all these clues, and all the people involved. And honestly, it's wild that no one's behind bars yet. At this point, I'm not just hoping for an arrest, I'm hoping for arrests, plural. Yeah, lock them up. Every single person who had a hand in this deserves to be held accountable. No excuses. This latest update does give me a little bit of hope, though. Maybe, finally, justice is on the horizon. But what do you think? Is Neo really the one who moved that Tesla? Or is there someone else pulling strings behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this mystery keeps getting deeper by the day. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for NoFilter since we drop daily celebrity gossip videos every single day. Like the video, share it with your friends, comment your theories, and I'll see you in the next one, right here at NoFilter.